So welcome back to another weekly breakdown. I am Gray, your mentor. One of the things I do want to keep in mind is that I like to keep my trading strategy simple, right? It's only when 99% of traders out there like to complicate their trading strategy or complicate the trading process because it's already complicated as it is. But it's only when traders tend to try to find the holy grail or tend to believe that they need to find this complex strategy to be profitable is when 99% of traders fail and decide to quit. Now, let's go over Bitcoin and these other pairs that I am watching for the week right now. Last time I did leave off, and if you missed my last week's webinar, go back and watch it and you'll see exactly why I have this drawn out the way I have it today. In the past, I did believe Bitcoin to be making some type of pullback, right? If you come over here, you can see that I drew this structure piece up, right? This is basic price action, basic structure. It's only when price pushes on up to make a higher high, that price has to officially or eventually make some type of higher low, an anticipated higher low, that we would then look for our entry to potentially take price back on up. Now, come over here and you can see that is exactly what we have here. Price pushed on up is creating our higher high somewhere, and now we want to wait for price to give us that pullback built on structure before continuing on up, right? It's the only way this is going to work. What is happening? Well, price did decide to pull on up, pulled back to an area that I did mark off last week. If you want to go back, you can check out exactly why I drew that. But for the people that are here today, I drew this area off, or I marked this area off because it is a point where price rejected multiple times. And it's only then that I said if price managed to bounce or reject off of this floor, if price cannot break our floor, it is going to do what? Throw a ball on the floor at this exact moment. If the ball does not break through the floor, it is going to bounce on up. And that is exactly what we are seeing now. What do I expect to happen throughout the week? Well, I do expect price to give us some type of pullback. It doesn't have to be deep, but if it does pull back and build structure around here, we can still see Bitcoin go bullish. That is another thing. Bitcoin is very bullish at the moment, so you don't really want to trade against that. You don't want to come in here and try to figure out where or when is price going to bounce on down, right? If you do want to find a shorting position to take Bitcoin on down, you want to wait to see if this floor here can be broken. Only when price breaks below this floor, build structure, then can price continue back on down. If this does not happen, price will always be bullish. It does not matter if price pulls all the way back down here, price can still continue on up as long as these floors here are not broken, right? So this is why we do have this level marked off. So for the week, what am I looking for? I am looking for Bitcoin to still continue on bullish. Another thing you want to keep in mind is that if Bitcoin cannot break this level here, right? I'm gonna draw that in red. If Bitcoin cannot break above this, more than likely that is going to be used as resistance. That means price is going to pull up on here. If it cannot break this level, it will pull back and continue back on down to potentially this floor or support, right? We are in some type of range. But as of now, we are sticking with the bull trend and we are going to look for some buying opportunity. All right, let's move on to US30. Same exact thing with US30. If you didn't miss this markup, go back last week and you can see exactly why I drew up the zone here or this key level here and why I drew up this one down below, right? Because price did manage to reject multiple times in that area. Now come on over here, and what do you expect to happen if price did come back to this key level? More than likely, it was going to do the same thing it did in the past, and that is bounce on up. And that looks like it is exactly what we are anticipating or are getting, right? So what am I looking for coming into this week? Well, I did say if price tapped into this area, it will more than likely reject to continue on up. That is happening, right? So what are we going to do now? How are we going to find a buying opportunity? Well, we want to look left and see if we can identify some type of floor where price will potentially bounce on up. I'm going to do this quickly. It doesn't have to be precise. Just know that in this area, there is some type of floor. Why did you draw it there? Well, because here we had some type of price reaction. Here we had price react. Same thing here, right? Price reacted, bounced on up. Same thing along here. Price broke down below that, but failed to use that now ceiling as resistance to continue on down, and price broke back above. All right, now what's happening? Same thing. Price broke along here, bounced on up, and bounced on up again. So more than likely, if price comes back to this area, gives us structure, we can potentially expect price to continue on up. Now, another thing or a key point that I'm going to give y'all is I do not care for precise measures. I don't care if this is a psychological number or if it is not. Just know that in this whole area down here, there are some type of buying pressure, or there is buying pressure, or there are buyers in this area. Remember, it is only when price breaks below this area here that then I would determine price to be bearish. If price does not break this low, more than likely price can just bounce along here until it is ready to pop on up. So therefore, we will stick with the trend and look for buying opportunities. Okay, so for this week, I am anticipating US30 to still continue on up, right? To be more precise, I would like to look for some type of floor to have price bounce on up. Now there's a lot of levels over here to the left. I don't know which one specifically is price going to use to bounce on up, but we know price is going to bounce on up somewhere in this area. So just be aware. Okay, same thing like Bitcoin. Also understand if price, there's levels to this, right? So if price does not break this area here, or even up here, right? Let's carry that along. More than likely price can very well use that as resistance or a ceiling to come back on down. Remember, if we do continue bullish, we want to see these levels get broken. Gold. Now, gold, like I said, if you missed this markup, go to my YouTube, check out my last week's video, and you'll see exactly why I chose these areas, or why I assumed price to be continuing on up, and how I was able to call this trade out. What was I looking for? I was looking for a price to bounce on up in this area down here, because if you look to the left, there was many rejections that let us know, hey, that there is buying pressure in this area, and if price so happens to pull back into it, we would continue on up. And that is exactly what we are getting right now. I'm going to go down to the 4-hour and break this down for y'all, right? Another thing that I did want y'all to pay attention to, right, is that if price did not break above these areas here, right, because this is now going to be used as what? As resistance or as a ceiling. If price did not manage to break above this, it was going to be used as resistance to continue on down. But what happened over here, right? There was a breakout, and now we are getting that push on up. Do I want to trade the breakout? No, because 99% of the times you will get caught in a fake out. So what do we want to do now that price has broken our area? Well, we want to just be patient and wait for price to pull on back to some type of floor before building structure to continue back on up. Right now, why did I say price is going to pull back on here? Because if I come to the left, I can see that price rejected off of this area multiple times, right? And I could go on and on and on and on and show you this, right? But I'm just going to stick to where we are now, right? So if price manages to pull on back to this area, I would like to see price build structure to go or continue on higher. So as of now, we do want to wait for a gold to give us some type of pullback before continuing this bull trend on up. So for now, we will wait until price pulls on back. Pound USD. Now, Pound USD, I did say that it was going to do one of two things. Either price was going to pull on back to this area here, build structure, which it is currently doing, to continue on up, which it also looks like it's doing, or price was going to break below, come back, build structure before continuing on down. But we can see that did not happen. We are getting that bull push that we anticipated. I'm telling you guys, go back and watch my videos and you can see me specifically call these moves out before they happen, right? The moves don't happen and then I come on here and tell you, hey, I called this. No, I'm calling them out before they happen, right? And I'm keeping it simple. What are we looking for next? Now that we did manage to get this bounce off of this area that we wanted, we want to see if price can pull on back to a floor, build that structure that we talk about before continuing on up. I don't know which floor price is going to use to bounce on up, as price can pull all the way back down here, still build that structure and then continue on up. Why can it come all the way down there? because this is our last confirmed higher low point, and only when that last confirmed higher low point is broken, we are now in a lower low, lower high market, which means we are now in a downtrend, right? We now have a new lower low. But since we are bullish, we are going to be looking for a floor, for price to bounce on up. Now, when that does happen, you want to make sure that price breaks what? Breaks levels. If price does not manage to break above these levels here, more than likely these levels can be used as resistance to push price back on down. Now, I'm not saying that these zones or these areas will push price all the way back down as some of y'all would assume, right? I'm just saying that careful, because if price does not manage to break, you will see some selling pressure come out of these areas, right? So as of now, we will be waiting for price to hopefully pull on back to one of these zones before continuing on up. Okay, Tesla. I have been saying for some time that Tesla is in a big range. Go to my last videos and check them out. I have also stated that it is only when price breaks above here that we can say Tesla is bullish, and only when price breaks below this that we would consider price to be bearish. And as of now, we did not want to anticipate the breakout, because every time you anticipate the breakout, you will get caught in a fake out. Right now, many of y'all like to use trend lines, and that's fine. But if you drew a trend line here, it was at this moment that you were expecting the breakout for price to continue on down. And this is exactly why 99% of traders fail, because when you try to catch the breakout, you get caught in a fake out. And that is exactly what happened here. If you were any type of seller here, you are now trapped. If you were any type of buyer over here, you are now trapped. If you were any type of buyer here, you are also now trapped, right? So as of now, you do want to wait for price to either break above this to build structure before continue on up, or break this to continue on down. Anything in the middle is just a range. NVIDIA. Now, NVIDIA has been pushing bullish for some time. If we are making higher highs and higher lows as a bull trend would, you need to wait for the pullback before price can continue on up, right? So with that being said, where would price potentially or be anticipated pullback before continuing on up? It is going to pull back to some type of floor, which is why I have this marked off, right? So if price can pull all the way back down here, or even down here, we could see price reject before continuing on up. But it is only when price pulled back that we will look for our buying entry, because you do not want to buy at a higher high. You don't want to buy so high up because price could just stop you out, right? NASDAQ, I don't trade, but we are currently just pushing bullish and it looks ugly. USD JPY right now. Last week I said we were here, go back and check it, and we wanted to wait for price to do one of two things. To confirm that this would be a breakout, we wanted to see price push on up and pull back, give us structure before continuing on up, or that this would just be considered a fake out if price managed to pull on back down, build structure below, and then continued on down. As of now, we are just going to wait and see how price sets up for the week before determining if we do want to take some type of buying entry on up. If you do find these videos helpful and you want mentorship, DM me on Instagram, DM me on YouTube or TikTok, and let's get you profitable.